Hey guys, Swiftburn here. A few things first. I'd like to thank Tiara for helping me with this project. She helped a lot. And the left click for each hero will be repeated. I know, you can blame me in the comments all you want. But the melee for each hero will only be done once by the enemy Genji. Anyways, on with the video. As we can see here, we're starting off from left to right. And we're going with Genji first. You can deflect his left click, and you can deflect his right click as well. The thing I found interesting though was you can deflect his melee, but it only blocks it. It doesn't deflect the damage back at the opponent. But sadly, the Genji shift and ultimate cannot be deflected, and it will go through for full damage. Moving on to McCree, his left click is deflectable and his E is deflectable, so that means you should get into McCree's face and rip him a new one. His right click is deflectable as well, and I found interesting that his ultimate is deflectable as well, which I did not know. Pharah, you can deflect her left click, but most Pharahs will aim it towards the ground, so keep that in mind. And you can deflect her E, but keep in mind that it'll still knock you back quite a bit. If you see a Pharah ulting, keep in mind that you can deflect back for full damage. That'll come in handy, right? Moving on to Reaper here, you can deflect his left click. What's very interesting is that the closer you are, the more damage you'll take. But here's the interesting thing. You can deflect his ultimate, but you can't deflect it all. So what you should do is get as close as possible to a Reaper that's ulting and deflect and shift through him to kill him instantly. For Soldier, you can deflect his left click. I think everyone knows by now that there's only a few heroes that you can't deflect the left click from. The right click you can deflect back, as well as his ultimate, but as well as Reaper, the thing with Soldier is that there's a timing. You should allow Soldier to start shooting you first before deflecting. That'll maximize the damage dealt back at him. For Tracer, you can deflect her left click as well as her bomb, and it'll turn hostile against her. That's really cool. Moving on to the defense heroes, we have Bastion, which you can deflect his left click, and in his sentry mode you can deflect all of his bullets back at him. But keep in mind that his ultimate does have a fairly long interval between autos, and you can only deflect one back at him. So I suggest that you find cover immediately if you hear Bastion ulting. For Hanzo, you can deflect his left click as well as his E, and even his shift. Now, I thought of the little animation, and I thought that maybe we should try it and see if we can view the enemies behind it if you deflect it correctly, and it looks like you can. The thing with Hanzo's ultimate is if you're not near enough, his ultimate will go through. But if you time it correctly and you're close enough, you can deflect his arrow back at him, and his ultimate will actually turn hostile and not only hurt him, but his allies behind him as well. For Junkrat, you can deflect his autos, which is actually a little hard to do. And you can deflect his shift back at him. it'll actually bounce him back. But here's the thing. I thought that his E you could deflect because I was just a little bit out of range, so we did it up close and personal. But what I found interesting is that you cannot deflect it. It just goes back behind. And you can't deflect his ultimate either. For Mei's left click, it'll go through your deflect. Yep, we should all know this by now. Her right click can be deflected, so you should take advantage of that. As well as her ultimate, it'll turn hostile against her. We were going crazy over this in the call because we didn't know this. You could try it out yourself. It's very hard to do it though in a real match. For Torbjorn, you can deflect his left click as well as his right click. Now, for his turrets, you can deflect damage dealt from the turrets back to whatever you choose, but as you'll see here, the more advanced the turret is, the more damage it will do to you, so keep that in mind, and I would not suggest going after Torbjorn in his ult. I would suggest going for Torbjorn and deflect his turret shots back at him, not his turret. And for Widowmaker, her left click is deflectable as well as her scope in. You'll see here. I actually made a mistake when making this video. I thought that you could bounce back her trap and you would both be poisoned. So we did a little bit of testing. I walked over his trap without me deflecting it, and you can see here that we're both still poisoned. So apparently it's hostile towards her. And there's your proof. For D.Va, you can deflect her left click and it'll actually damage her more if you're closer, especially if it's a headshot. I would not suggest deflecting against D.Va at all, because not only is her left click too slow, her ultimate still goes through your deflect. But I would definitely suggest fighting her out of her mech. You can kill her very easily without her mech. For Reinhardt, you can deflect his left click, which is basically just an auto, as well as his E. But something I could not reproduce while making this video is this next part right here. I actually stayed in the air for a bit before being pinned, so we tried everything to recreate it, and it wasn't recreatable as far as I know. But if you guys can show me any proof in the comments, if you want to show me any videos of this, it might be a bug, I don't know. Maybe my internet connection was just bad. And something I forgot to comment was Reinhardt's ult is not deflectable. So moving on to Roadhog, his left click is deflectable, and the closer you get, the more damage it'll do. And his right click is deflectable. And something we tried was his hook, and it surprised me that you could deflect it, so you should keep that in mind for next time that Roadhog tries to hook you. His ulti we tried in two forms, one while being close and one while walking towards him. In both instances, Roadhog got knocked back, so if you want, you can just give him a taste of his own medicine. I suggest you do it, it'll help your team a lot. For Winston's left click, it does go through, but as we saw earlier, melee attacks get blocked. Zarya's left click goes through, but her right click does not. It gets deflected back at her. Something we found interesting was that her ultimate also gets deflected back at her, and she's the one that gets sucked back in. Lucio now. Moving on to sports. Lucio's left click gets deflected, but his right click does not, and the damage still goes through. For Mercy, her left click does get deflected, but sadly Symmetra's left click does not get deflected. Her right click I found interesting. If it's in you, it'll still be deflected, but you take the full damage. But if you deflect it correctly, the damage will go back at her For Zenyatta, his left and right click get deflected for full damage. Something we tried was the Discord Orb, and it does not get deflected. So there you have it, everything Genji could deflect. Leave a like, leave a comment, and please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.